Have you ever looked in the mirror and quietly asked yourself, what happened? Not because you feel old, but because your body doesn't seem to respond the way it did just a few years ago. Most men are told that's simply what happens after 60. They hear, it's your age, learn to live with it. But what if that's only part of the story? What if one of the biggest reasons isn't your age at all, but the health of your blood vessels? Today I'm going to share 3 everyday fruits that research suggests may help support healthy blood flow, which is one of the most important foundations of erectile health after 60. These aren't expensive supplements, miracle pills, or internet gimmicks. They're simple, everyday foods that may already be sitting in your kitchen. And I want you to stay with me until the very end, because in the final section, I'll reveal one simple daily habit that many of my patients overlooked for years. Once they changed it, they didn't just notice improvements in circulation, they often felt far more energetic throughout the day. That final tip catches almost everyone by surprise. I'm Dr. Eduardo Perez, and in nearly 30 years of working with older adults, I've learned something crucial. Most men don't actually want to talk about erectile problems. They'd rather change the subject entirely. They feel embarrassed, frustrated, or even ashamed. But here's the truth. You are not alone. Thousands of men over 60 experience changes in sexual function, and in many cases, those changes are closely connected to overall cardiovascular health. The encouraging news is that your body is often far more adaptable than you think. Small daily habits can make a meaningful difference over time. So grab a pen and paper, because you're definitely going to want to. Write this down. Before we get to the first fruit, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that your morning energy isn't what it used to be? Maybe climbing the stairs takes a little extra effort. Maybe your evening walks have become shorter. Or maybe you've noticed changes in intimacy that leave you wondering if your best years are behind you. Now here's another question. What if all of those things were connected? Many people assume erectile health has nothing to do with the rest of the body, but research tells a completely different story. Think of your circulation like the plumbing system in your home. When the pipes are clean and water flows smoothly, every faucet works the way it's supposed to. But when those pipes gradually become narrower or less flexible, the water pressure drops. The exact same basic idea applies to blood flow. Your body depends on healthy blood vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients everywhere they're needed, including the tissues involved in an erection. Here's something many people don't realize. The blood vessels involved in erectile function are much smaller than the main arteries supplying your heart. So if circulation starts becoming less efficient, where do you think your body might show signs first? Exactly. Sometimes the earliest warning sign isn't chest pain, it's changes in performance. That's why many healthcare professionals encourage men not to ignore these symptoms, but to see them as a reason to pay closer attention to their overall health. Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that eating one fruit will magically solve erectile problems overnight. If anyone tells you there's one miracle food that fixes everything, immediately they're selling hope instead of science. Real health doesn't work that way. Your body responds to consistent, daily habits, just like a garden responds to regular watering instead of one heavy rainstorm. And that's exactly why today's 3 fruits matter. They're not magic. They are key parts of a lifestyle that supports healthier circulation over time. Let's begin with the first fruit, watermelon. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, watermelon is mostly water and sugar. How could it possibly help? That's actually one of the biggest myths I hear from my patients. Yes, watermelon is refreshing. Yes, it's naturally sweet. But hidden inside this simple fruit is a natural compound called citrulline. Don't let the name intimidate you. Think of citrulline as a helpful delivery driver whose job is to carry an important message inside your body. After you eat watermelon, your body converts some of that citrulline into another amino acid called arginine. Arginine then helps your body produce nitric oxide. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is nitric oxide? Great question. Imagine standing in your garden with a hose that's been squeezed tightly. Water barely trickles through, but the moment you loosen your grip, the water begins flowing much more freely. Nitric oxide works in a similar way. It signals the smooth muscles around your blood vessels to relax, allowing blood to move far more efficiently. Healthy circulation doesn't just matter for intimacy. It supports your heart, your brain, your muscles, and even your ability to enjoy a long walk without feeling exhausted. A study involving older adults found that improving nitric oxide production can support healthier, more flexible blood vessel function. While watermelon isn't a medicine and shouldn't replace treatments recommended by your doctor, including foods that naturally support this pathway can be one great piece of a heart-healthy lifestyle. Now, here's something I want you to think about. When was the last time you actually chose watermelon because you were thinking about your circulation? Most people eat it at a family barbecue or during a hot summer afternoon. Very few people think of it as something that may actively support vascular health, which is why it's so often overlooked. Another major advantage is hydration. As we grow older, many people simply don't drink enough water throughout the day. Mild dehydration can leave you feeling sluggish and may directly affect how well your circulation responds. Because watermelon is over 90% water, it helps you stay well hydrated while providing vitamins and beneficial plant compounds at the same time. Here's how I often suggest enjoying it. A bowl alongside breakfast, a refreshing afternoon snack, blended into a smoothie without added sugar, or paired with plain Greek yogurt for a balanced evening treat. One serving is about 1 to 2 cups, and for most healthy adults, that's a very reasonable amount as part of an overall balanced diet. But I have another question for you. Do you usually avoid fruit because you're worried about sugar? If so, don't worry. We'll talk about that later in this video because the answer isn't as simple as many people think. And trust me, the second fruit on today's list surprised even some of my patients who considered themselves nutrition experts. The second fruit is one that many people walk right past in the grocery store without giving it a second thought: pomegranate. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a pomegranate and thought, that's way too much work, I'll grab something easier instead? If you have, you're certainly not alone. Many of my patients say the exact same thing. Those tiny seeds seem inconvenient, and because of that, this remarkable fruit often gets ignored. But here's what surprises most people. Those little ruby red seeds are packed with powerful natural antioxidants. Think of antioxidants as your body's dedicated maintenance crew. Every single day, your blood vessels are exposed to normal wear and tear from aging, stress, poor sleep, and unhealthy eating habits. Over time, that wear can make your blood vessels much less flexible. Imagine an old garden hose that's been sitting out in the hot sun for years. It becomes stiff and doesn't bend the way it used to. Blood vessels can experience something very similar as we age. Now here's the interesting part. The antioxidants in pomegranate may help protect the lining of your blood vessels from everyday damage. Scientists call this inner lining the endothelium. But don't worry about remembering the name. Just think of it as the smooth inner surface that allows blood to flow easily, almost like a freshly paved highway instead of a road full of potholes. When that lining stays healthier, overall circulation can improve. And that's important for your heart, your brain, and yes, your sexual health too. A number of studies suggest that pomegranate may support healthy blood vessel function because of its rich antioxidant content. It's not a cure for erectile dysfunction, and it doesn't replace proper medical care, but it can be a smart, delicious addition to an overall heart-healthy eating pattern. Now, let me ask you another question. Have you ever noticed that when your heart feels healthier, your overall energy seems better too? That's no coincidence. Your body doesn't separate your circulation into different departments. The exact same network of blood vessels supports your entire body. That's why healthy habits almost always improve more than one area of your life. Here's another myth I hear all the time. Doctor, if it's natural, I can eat as much as I want. Not necessarily. Even healthy foods work best in reasonable, balanced portions. For most people, about half a cup of fresh pomegranate seeds, or a small serving added to a meal, is plenty. If you enjoy pomegranate juice, choose one without any added sugar and keep the serving size moderate. And here's something very important. If you're taking blood-thinning medication or have kidney disease or another medical condition, always check with your healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes. Natural doesn't automatically mean appropriate for everyone, and your overall health matters most. Now let's make this practical. How can you actually eat pomegranate every day without getting bored? Sprinkle the seeds over warm oatmeal in the morning. Mix them into plain Greek yogurt for a protein-rich breakfast. Add them to a fresh spinach salad at lunch. Or enjoy a small bowl as an afternoon snack instead of reaching for processed cookies or candy. It's simple, affordable, and requires no complicated recipes. Now, I want you to think about this carefully. If your body depends on healthy circulation every second of every day, wouldn't it make sense to feed it foods that support those blood vessels consistently rather than only once in a while? That's exactly what many people miss. They eat healthy on Monday, skip it on Tuesday, and forget about it by Wednesday. Then they wonder why nothing changes. Your body thrives on consistency. Think of it like watering a plant. You wouldn't pour 10 buckets of water on it once a month and expect it to flourish. A little water every day works much better. The exact same principle applies to healthy eating. Small habits repeated day after day produce far better results than dramatic changes that last only a week. Now, before I reveal the third fruit, let me ask you one more question. What do you think damages blood vessels faster? Is it simply getting older, or is it years of unhealthy habits adding up over time? The answer might surprise you. Aging is only one piece of the puzzle. Research continues to show that lifestyle choices, things like smoking, uncontrolled blood sugar, high blood pressure, poor sleep, and a lack of physical activity can have a massive impact on blood vessel health. The encouraging news is that many of those factors can be improved, not overnight, but step by step. That's what gives me so much hope for my patients. I've seen men in their late 60s and 70s start walking regularly, improve their eating habits, sleep better, and work with their doctors to manage blood pressure and cholesterol. A few months later, many tell me they feel more energetic, more confident, and more like themselves again. No miracles, no secret formulas, just consistent, healthy habits supported by good medical care. Now, here comes the fruit that surprises almost everyone. In fact, when I mention it during appointments, many people smile because they already have it sitting in their refrigerator. They just never realized how beneficial it could be. And believe it or not, one large scientific study connected this fruit with a lower risk of erectile difficulties in men who regularly included it in their diets. Let me talk about the third fruit, berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. They're small, colorful, delicious, and easy to eat. But don't let their size fool you. Sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you ate a handful of berries because you specifically wanted to improve your circulation? Most people don't. They eat them simply because they taste good. But research suggests there's much more to the story. Berries are naturally rich in plant compounds called flavonoids. Don't worry about remembering the name. Just think of flavonoids as tiny bodyguards traveling through your bloodstream every day. Their main job is to help protect your blood vessels from everyday wear and tear. Imagine your blood vessels are like roads leading to every neighborhood in a city. When those roads are smooth and well-maintained, delivery trucks arrive on time, food arrives, medicine arrives, and everything works seamlessly. But what happens if the roads develop cracks, traffic jams, and structural damage? Deliveries slow down. Exactly. Your circulation works in a very similar way. Healthy blood vessels make it easier for oxygen and nutrients to reach every part of your body. That includes your heart, your brain, your muscles, and yes, the tissues involved in healthy erections. Now here's something fascinating. A large study following thousands of men found that those who regularly consumed flavonoid-rich foods, including berries, were less likely to experience erectile difficulties over time compared with men who rarely ate them. Notice something important here. The study didn't say berries were a miracle cure. Science almost never speaks that way. Instead, it showed that healthy eating patterns are strongly associated with healthier blood vessels, and healthier blood vessels support healthier circulation. That is a very important distinction to keep in mind. Now, let me ask you something. How many advertisements have you seen promising instant results? One pill, one powder, one secret ingredient. 7 days, 10 days, complete miracles. Here's what I've learned after nearly 30 years of caring for older adults. Your body doesn't respond to advertisements. It responds to habits. The decisions you make today become the health you experience months from now. That's why I encourage my patients to stop chasing quick fixes. Instead, build reliable daily routines your body can depend on. Now here's another myth. Doctor, frozen berries aren't as healthy as fresh ones. Actually, in many cases, that's simply not true. Frozen berries are usually picked when they're fully ripe and frozen quickly, which helps preserve many of their vital nutrients. They're often more affordable, they last much longer, and they significantly reduce food waste. So, if fresh berries are expensive where you live, frozen berries can be an excellent practical option. Health doesn't have to be expensive, it has to be consistent. Now, let me make this practical. How can you include berries throughout your day? Add a handful of blueberries to oatmeal at breakfast. Mix strawberries into plain Greek yogurt. Blend frozen berries into a smoothie with low-fat milk. Sprinkle raspberries over whole grain cereal. Or simply enjoy 1 cup as an afternoon snack instead of reaching for processed cookies or candy. It's simple, quick, requires no complicated recipes, and needs no expensive equipment. Now, I want to ask you something that many men never stop to think about. Which is more important? Eating one healthy meal once a week, or eating reasonably healthy meals every single day? I think you already know the answer. Your body rewards consistency above all else. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't brush for 3 hours on Sunday so you can skip the rest of the week. You brush for a few minutes every day. Healthy eating works the exact same way. Small actions repeated consistently produce far bigger results than occasional bursts of temporary motivation. Now, let me clear up another common concern. Many people over 60 avoid fruit because they're worried about sugar. Have you ever thought that yourself? If so, you're certainly not alone. But here's the important distinction. Whole fruit isn't the same as processed candy. Whole fruit contains natural sugars wrapped inside fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, and beneficial plant compounds. Think of fiber like a time-release capsule. Instead of flooding your bloodstream all at once, it helps slow digestion, allowing your body to absorb nutrients much more gradually. That's one big reason eating a whole apple affects you very differently than drinking a sugary soda. However, if you have diabetes or prediabetes, portion size still matters. Always follow the guidance of your healthcare provider or a registered dietitian, because healthy foods are still healthiest when eaten in the right amounts for your body. Now, let's pause for a moment. We've talked about watermelon. We've talked about pomegranate. We've talked about berries. At first glance, they seem completely different. Different colors, different flavors, different textures. So, what do they all have in common? Here's the answer. Every single one of them contains natural compounds that support overall cardiovascular health. And that's critical because your circulatory system doesn't work in separate, isolated pieces. The exact same network of blood vessels carries oxygen and nutrients throughout your entire body. So when you support your heart, you're also supporting your brain, your muscles, your kidneys, your overall energy, and your sexual health. Everything is connected. That's why I always remind my patients not to focus on one symptom alone. Instead of asking, "Doctor, what can I eat for stronger erections?" Try asking, "Doctor, how can I improve the health of my entire circulatory system?" That is a much more powerful question, because healthy circulation benefits every single part of your life. Now, here's another question for you. How many hours do you spend sitting every day? Be completely honest. 4, 6, 8, or even more. Research shows that long periods of sitting can significantly reduce healthy circulation. The good news is that you don't need to join an expensive gym or lift heavy weights to fix this. Simply standing up every hour, walking around your home, working in the garden, taking a short walk after dinner, or doing a few chair exercises while watching television can all encourage better blood flow. Researchers call this a synergistic effect. That's just a scientific way of saying that two healthy habits work far better together than either one alone. Healthy fruit plus regular movement equals better nutrition plus better circulation. Small positive changes working together. And here's something that still amazes me. Some men spend hundreds of dollars searching for miracle supplements on the internet, yet they completely ignore the simple, proven habits backed by years of research. Not because those habits don't work, but because they seem too ordinary. Never underestimate the power of ordinary habits repeated every single day, because extraordinary health is almost always built on ordinary choices. Now, before we finish this discussion, there's one more piece of the puzzle that almost everyone overlooks. It isn't another fruit, and it isn't another supplement. In fact, it's timing and routine, something you manage every single day. Once you understand how to use timing to your advantage, these three fruits can become part of a daily routine that's even more effective for supporting your overall cardiovascular health. For years, many people believed that as long as you ate healthy foods, the time of day didn't really matter. But research now suggests that consistency and habit timing can help you maintain long-term habits that protect your blood vessels. Here's what I tell my patients. Don't think of these fruits as a once-in-a-while treat. Think of them as a fixed part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth, taking prescribed medications, or watering a plant. Small actions repeated consistently produce results that occasional big efforts simply can't match. So, when is the best time? Many of my patients enjoy berries or watermelon with breakfast because it starts the day with hydration, fiber, and important nutrients. Pomegranate makes a wonderful afternoon snack or a colorful addition to lunch. The exact hour isn't as important as making these fruits a predictable, regular part of your week. Now, let me ask you something. How many healthy habits have you started, only to quit after a few days? It happens to all of us. We're excited on Monday, motivated on Tuesday, but by Friday, life gets busy, and by the following week, we've forgotten all about it. The problem isn't that healthy foods don't work. The problem is that consistency disappears. Remember this. Your body is always listening to what you do every day, not what you do once in a while. Now, let's talk about dosage. People often ask me, Doctor, how much should I actually eat? The answer is surprisingly simple. Aim for about 1 to 2 servings of fruit a day as part of a balanced diet. For example, 1 cup of berries, 1 to 2 cups of watermelon, or about half a cup of pomegranate seeds. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, or another medical condition, your healthcare provider may recommend specific portions, so always follow their tailored advice. Here's another question. When should you expect to see results? Many people expect major changes in 3 days or 1 week, but that's not how the human body operates. Think of improving your circulation like growing a garden. You plant the seeds today, you water them every day, and you don't wake up tomorrow expecting a full harvest. With consistent, healthy habits, many people begin noticing meaningful improvements in their overall energy and well-being over several weeks. Every person is different, and there's no guaranteed timeline, but patience is one of the most vital parts of the process. Think of it exactly like taking a daily multivitamin. You don't expect one pill to change your life overnight because its real value comes from taking it consistently over time. Healthy eating works the exact same way. Now, let me share one of my favorite practical tips. If possible, take a gentle 20 to 30-minute walk after one of your main meals. Nothing intense, no running or heavy lifting, just a comfortable, relaxed walk around your neighborhood. Or spend a little time gardening, walking your dog, or doing a few chair exercises while listening to music. Researchers call this a synergistic effect, which is simply a scientific way of saying that 2 healthy habits work better together than either one alone. Healthy foods nourish your body, while gentle movement directly stimulates circulation. Together, they provide far greater benefits than either habit by itself. And here's something I hope you'll remember long after this video ends. Your goal isn't perfection. Your goal is progress. If yesterday wasn't your healthiest day, that's completely okay. Start fresh today. If you missed a walk this morning, take one this evening. If you skipped fruit yesterday, enjoy some tomorrow. Small, positive improvements repeated over months and years add up in truly meaningful ways. I've seen many older adults regain their confidence, not because they found a miracle cure, but because they became consistent. They chose healthier meals, stayed active, slept better, and worked with their healthcare providers to manage blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol. Over time, they didn't just feel healthier, they felt like themselves again. And that's exactly what I want for you. Not false promises or overnight miracles, but real, lasting health built one choice at a time. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 3 fruits do you already enjoy the most? Watermelon, pomegranate, or berries? Tell me in the comments below. I read the comments and truly enjoy hearing about your experiences and learning what health topics you'd like me to cover next. If you found this video helpful, please share it with a husband, brother, father, or friend over 60 who might benefit from these simple, science-based tips. And if you're committed to staying active, independent, and healthy for many years to come, don't forget to subscribe and join our community. Every week, I share practical advice to help you take care of your heart, your body, and your overall quality of life. Until next time, I'm Dr. Eduardo Perez. Take care of yourself, keep moving, keep nourishing your body with healthy foods, and remember, your age does not define your future. The healthy choices you make today will help shape a stronger tomorrow. I'll see you in the next video.